Hey guys, welcome back to Charlie and me, our camping vlog. As you see, I'm out in the storage yard where we keep the camper van. What with the COVID virus still going around and myself and Charlie not being able to get to campsites or stopovers to review them, we asked you guys through our podcasts and at the end of one or two of our videos, you know, we want to keep the videos coming. Is there anything that you'd like us to look into? And we got some great suggestions, and actually I think I have some of the suggestions here that came in. A few suggestions came in to Chris as well of the Camping Crew podcast, and we have a few things that we're going to look at today. Here we go. I'm not going down too far. What about looking at clever storage, Aaron, or looking after your awning, changing a fuse in the camper van, dealing with the electric tripping? Maybe you can show us your day room and what treatment you use for cleaning your grey and black water tanks. So today we're going electrics. There's two sets of electrics on the van. There's three sets. There's the van electrics. We're not going to look at that. That's for a mechanic to do. You have your camper 12 volt and you have your camper 220/240 volt. The 240 volt works when you plug in your mains lead when you get to site, and the 12 volt works all other times. The system we have here, I have two 110 amp leisure batteries and one 110 amp solar panel on the roof. So when we're out wild camping, the solar panel keeps the two batteries charged. When the two batteries are fully charged, it then goes and trickle charges your engine battery, but that's just a by and by. That's not something we decided on, it's just the way the system works. Now, what I'm going to do today is, with the engine, you've got your ordinary fuses that run the lights and all the engine and mechanical end of things. That fuse box in this camper van, which is a Fiat Ducato 06, is in the glove box. And they are micro fuses. And I showed you on a video prior to this one, I think when I showed you the tools we carried, that there are two types of fuses in the vans. There's micro fuses, there's spade little slip-on fuses, and then there's the standard size. What I plan to do to show you today is what happens when you plug in on site and your power goes. How to kind of work on that fault to get the power back on. So we'll take a look at that, and I'll also show you then where the fuses are. Now, in my last camper van, which was a HYMER A-class, I didn't have a driver's door, and the fuses were in a little cupboard just beside my right arm at my window. In this one, our fuses are under the driver's seat. My first leisure battery is under the passenger seat, and the second leisure battery I have in under the sofa just behind the driver's seat. So let's take a look at the electrics. What can go wrong? One or two ways of possibly fixing that, and hopefully this video will be informative. So first off, let's start with the 220 volt electrics on the camper van. Now, I carry this 15 meter, that's my main lead, and it's held together with a little strap. Now, when I plug in, I put this strap on my steering wheel to remind me not to drive off. Every year, sometimes twice a year, and I suggest you do this, open up the plug and tighten the connections because they do work loose. So that's my main lead. I then carry a 25 meter spare lead. Now, there's a bit of weight in this one, but I think it's worth having. I then carry an array of adapters. This is just an extension plug that I've been carrying this for a long time. It's a male and a female. It's just an extension lead. Comes in handy at times, even if it's to help somebody else out. I then carry two of these. Well, I now only carry one. It's in case you're plugged in at home. Plug it in at home, and then you have your socket to plug your camping lead into. I also carry that. Here in the yard, I also carry one of those adapters that I made up years ago, but that's constantly here, and I have another lead which is constantly here in the yard because when I pull in, I keep the camper van plugged in, and that's plugged in there all the time. So you know the procedure. You plug in on site, and then you plug your camper van in, and let's see what happens when things go wrong. So you make your way over to the camper van. I always suggest you plug into the camper van first and then plug into the wall. You've plugged into the camper van and now you head and you plug into the wall. And when you plug into the wall, this little light should come on. That's your 12 volt light, and this light is your 240-volt light. That should come on when you plug in. Oh wait, it hasn't. That means we have a problem. So you've plugged in and the 220-volt light didn't come on, which means you have a problem. So the first thing you do is, well, the first thing I do is, I go and I just check the connection where I plugged into the camper, make sure that it's pushed in far enough, come back, check the light, it's still not on. I then make my way to the pole on the campsite where we've plugged in. 9 times out of 10, there's usually a trip there. If there's 2, 3 or 4 sockets, the trips are normally there. If they are, you check that the one you're plugged into, that the electrical trip is up. If it is, we still have a problem. If the trip is not there, you may have to contact the campsite owner. He may have to go back to a room and flick up the trip. If the trip is up, we still have a problem. Bear in mind, at this stage, you've checked your leads already before you left home for the yearly check, tightened everything, and everything is okay. So you've no power. What can the problem be? Everything is okay on the camper end. Everything is okay on the pole end. Everything is okay back at the main fuse box end. It's got to be in the camper. A lot of people know this, but you'd be surprised at how many people don't know you have an electrical trip fuse box, usually in your wardrobe. Let's take a look at ours. So in our wardrobe, most camper vans and caravans, the heating system is usually at the bottom of the wardrobe. That's your hot water tank. In our wardrobe, excuse the mess, we carry a lot of shoes, as you can see, and I'll just slide them across here. Now, it is possible, sliding this in and out, that you've hit the fuse box, which is there. Now, both our fuses are up, so we don't have a problem because the light is obviously on. But if they're down, flick them up, and then your light should come on. If at this point your light doesn't come on, you've got a bigger problem, and I can't help you there. I'm hoping that you know an electrical friend that can really help you out there. But normally, 9 times out of 10, if it's not the plug plugged in at the side of the van, if it's not the pole source and you still have no electricity, 9 times out of 10, it's that trip. You might have tripped it putting the sweeping brush in. It may have tripped for some reason. Maybe you were running too much with the kettle and the toaster together, or a heater and the toaster together. It may have tripped, or you may, as I say, we've often hit that. And I'll be honest, I've often gone to campsites and still go into panic mode because the little light didn't come on to show that we have power. Right, you now have 220 power, you're happy, have a good weekend. Now, let's take a look at the 12-volt system. I mentioned at the start of this video, there were 2 different types of blade fuses. Now, they come in red, blue. I've shown you these before on a video before. These are mini blade fuses. For example, that's a 20 amp blade fuse. Now, it's tiny. I mean, there's my finger and there's the size of it. So that's a 20 amp. I buy these, there's approximately 100 fuses from, I think, 5 amp to 25 amp, or maybe even 2 amp. And then this is another box that I have of standard fuses. Now, I've always had these, but here's the difference. Actually, if I take just one of these out again. So I've shown you the mini blade, and this is the standard blade. And that's the mini blade. There's some difference, isn't there? These are the ones that are in the engine compartment to run all the electrics of the van, the running gear. I actually said at the offset that it was in my glove box. It's not. It's just beside my glove box. There's a fuse board. It's behind a little panel that you take out with 2 hexagonal, like Allen keys, but they're not Allen keys. So let me show you the system that we have here. I've had no cause to come near this system. When we bought the camper van from Pat Horan's in Aglish in County Tipperary, I asked him to fit my second leisure battery, which I took out of my last camper van, to fit the solar. Now, in my last van, when we had the solar fitted, you have to have the 2 batteries beside each other to connect them in parallel, and then the solar panel comes down to that. That was a 1996 HYMER. With this van, it's a 06. You don't need any of that. Wait till I tell you how this works, and it's absolutely brilliant. The unit that controls the camper van has facilities for you to run your solar panel directly into it, and then run your second battery directly into it, and it does all the magic, because my first leisure battery is over under Deirdre's seat, the passenger seat, and my second one is behind my driver's seat under the sofa. And that would have been a long way to be running leads, and you're supposed to keep batteries pretty close together if you're doing a solar system. But this system didn't need it. I still have the solar control panel, which I'll show you. I've never actually looked at it. And everything is connected into the box, and then it does the business. So let's take a look at the fuse box that runs the habitation part of the camper van. This has nothing to do with the engine part. Okay guys, this is underneath my seat. This is the driver's seat. That's the arm for bringing it forward and bringing it back. And in here is the workings of the camper van. These two cable ties and this little unit here is my solar unit. And Tristan, rather than drilling this, just cable tied to the solar unit so I can see that it's charging, it's not charging. It's obviously not charging at the moment because I'm inside. So this should just clip off, and I'll just tilt that. My solar unit is there. You're not going to see it. But anyway, let's get some light in here. There is the heart of the van. These are my solar cables, so we'll just take them out of the way. There's a connection, as I said to you earlier on, for modern vans. Then you have your fuses. Most of the fuses in this van are 15 and 20 amp. And I'm not sure how good the camera work is, but let me bring this over here. There are the fuses in there. There's a whole row, and now unfortunately they're done in German, but it does tell you what it is. There's a master switch, you have your master power. So if a fuse is gone, you've just got to come in here and check these fuses. There's two 20 amp there, there's a couple of 10 amps, and then there's 1, 2, 3 15 amps, 4, 5, 6 15 amps, and another 20 amp. So if you have a problem with your electrics, or if you have a problem with anything to do with the 12 volt on the camper van system, this is where you have to come. Now, I've just taken out one of the fuses just to show you that they are the big blade fuses that are running the camper van. As I say, I did have reason. I think when I got the tow bar rewired, I blew a fuse, and they're the mini blade fuses that are in the camper van, in the engineering end of the van. But here, to run the habitation, they're the bigger blade fuses. So make sure you carry a pack of both. I think they were probably a tenner, maybe even less or a little more. You get 100 fuses, more than enough, and the same with the mini blade fuses. I think some of you said on the video that I showed my tools, that I've got more tools than the AA mechanic. It's better to have them than not have them. Personal views, I just happen to have the tools and I had the space. But make sure, rather than just buying one or two of these, buy one of these boxes from your local car accessory shop, and at least have two of everything and keep them somewhere safe in case you do have an electrical fault. Now, we normally say at the beginning of the podcasts and at the beginning of these videos, first of all, at the podcast we say we're just expressing our views, we're enthusiasts. Regarding the electric, I do know what I'm talking about, because at one stage of my life I was a full-fledged electrician and electronics engineer. So I hope this video helps you out. Just carry enough fuses. Again, if you have electrical work to be done on your van, seek professional auto electric helps. Sometimes an ordinary electrician will be able to do the work for you, but if it's auto electrics, you're better off seeking somebody that has the knowledge of either both 220 or at least the auto electrics of a camper van. It's totally different to, not totally different, but there's a difference in the inhabitants. It's very like house wiring as compared to auto electrics. But just play it safe. If you're not sure what you're doing, call on the professionals. There's plenty of them out there. Some of your friends may have a lot more experience from maybe converting vans or motorhomes or caravans. The caravan electrics are very, very similar to the motorhome electrics. Usually the fuse board is in the wardrobe or an area that's accessible, maybe a press where your TV connections are, but it's very, very similar. So a recap, if it doesn't work on electrics, on mains, check that you're plugged in properly at the side of the camper van. Check where you're plugged in on site if there is a trip there. If not, go to the campsite owner and get him to check his room. If all that works and your light still isn't on, chances are it's that trip in the wardrobe or the press or wherever your small fuse board is. On the 12 volt electrics, if the light doesn't come on, check the bulb first of all. It's very hard to carry spare bulbs. I carry one, But as my bulbs are going, I've been replacing them with LED lights, either LED strip lighting or LED just taking out the bulbs and putting in different bulbs. I do have one little fluorescent bulb left. I bought two for some reason, and I just happen to carry a spare one. If the bulb doesn't work, the light doesn't work, chances are it's the bulb. If it's not the bulb, head under your seat, find out, familiarize yourself with your electrics, find out where that fuse board is. Check the little fuses. You might need a long nose pliers to get them out, but make sure you carry some of those fuses. As you saw on mine, they're the bigger spade fuses as opposed to the Mini, which runs the camper van electrics. We're trying to keep you guys, we're trying to keep the videos going during these hard times. It's going to clear, and when it clears, there's going to be an exodus of motorhomes and caravans and tents to campsites all over this country. And because the campsites are really feeling the pinch because they have all closed at this stage, please support it. When all the bans are lifted and we're allowed out, head to your local campsite. Try and put some money back into the pockets of those campsite owners that have been there for us over the years, and try and spend a few bob in the local towns if you're wild camping. Pick up your dirt. Just leave your footprint. In the meantime, stay safe, keep washing those hands, keep watching the videos. If you haven't already subscribed, please do, because that helps us out on the channel, and click that little like button as well. If you don't like the video, let us know by clicking the thumbs down. We hate to see that, but we can't please everybody. I hope these videos have been of help to you in your caravan, in your motorhome or your camper van. I'm Aaron from Charlie and Mia Camping Vlog, and we'll talk to you again very, very soon. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.